Welcome once again to Lehto's Law. Here's Steve Lehto.
I was just hanging out last night. My phone started dinging, and it was Google. Google once in a while contacts me, and they said, "Hey, Steve, there's an article that mentions your name. Do you want to read it?" Sure, I do, Google. Thank you very much. And a whole bunch of people sent this to me in the meantime because they caught it also. Thank you very much. But rvtravel.com is a website. And a man named Ron Burge, B-U-R-D-G-E, is an attorney in Ohio who does handle RV claims if they're just right. So what state you're in and what the warranty is and how defective the vehicle is, right? So the headline that he wrote says, "Federal judge calls Thor's warranty a scheme to deprive RVers of their rights." A federal judge. Now, I just did the video a week or two back about another federal judge who said that the sales contract signed by the buyer when they're buying an RV shielded the seller from any and all liability that might arise from that sale. So if the RV turns out to be fatally defective, it literally just doesn't run, you can't sue the dealer, you got to go after the manufacturer. And by the way, you got to do that in Indiana. So federal judges appear to be looking at some of these things. And here they came down on the side of the consumer. On January 6th, a federal judge in California issued a stinging rebuke to Thor Motor Coach while denying Thor's motion to have an RV breach of warranty lawsuit transferred to Indiana. The judge noted that Thor had for years been using warranty terms that were unenforceable in California, saying that scheme is contrary to California public policy and the court should not condone or encourage it. The federal court pointed out how Thor was using a warranty that said people would not have a right to a jury trial, which Thor had known for years was contrary to California law. In California, a jury trial is guaranteed in such a case if you want it. You can waive it if you want to, but and that would take both parties agreeing to do so. But if you want one, you can get a jury trial. The court went on to point out that Thor's warranty also said warranty claim lawsuits had to be filed in Indiana, when doing that would actually take away the rights guaranteed to California RV buyers by California law. Yet TMC continued to include those provisions in its warranty agreements, the judge said, in condemning the practice and refused to transfer the case out of California. As an enticement to get the California federal judge to transfer the case to Indiana, Thor had said it was willing to not enforce those provisions in the Indiana court, but the judge didn't accept that. That ploy has worked before in some California courts, but not in the courtroom of federal judge Rita Lynn in the Northern District of California in the case of Gorga versus Thor Motor Coach, Gorga. Judge Lynn noted that Thor had lost that battle the year before in a different California federal court, where a federal court judge denied the same motion by Thor. In January of last year, a federal judge noted that Thor Motor states that it knowingly presents agreements to California consumers containing clauses that are prohibited under California law. Judge Lorenz, in that case, went on to say that Thor's use of the prohibited terms could cause some California consumers to follow Thor's instructions and file their case in Indiana, and then later find out that by doing so, they lost rights they had under California law. The judge called Thor's practice a scheme that was contrary to California public policy, as he refused to allow Thor to have the case transferred out of his court, noting that the enforcement of a clause drafted in bad faith would be condoning an illegal scheme. And that case was Warwick versus Thor Motor Coach in the Southern District of California. Lawyers call these kinds of clauses in terrorem clauses. It's when a company puts in a term that they know is not enforceable, just so people will see it and think it is, and then they won't fight it. It's a way of scaring people into doing something they don't really want or have to do. Moral of the story, just because it's in writing does not mean you are always stuck with it. So you can read that court case, of course. You can also read this article, because I'll put a link in the description below the video. But you can also, and oh, by the way, it says related. Watch attorney Steve Lehto's video about RV warranties in other states that are similar to the one in the case above. And then it says Ron Burge, that's the author of the article, is an RV lemon law attorney based in Ohio. He's a longtime rvtravel.com advertiser and contributing writer, and he can be contacted at rvlemonlaw.com. So I've mentioned Ron before And I had a lot of people call me from Ohio because it's not far from Michigan. And when they call me from Ohio, I say, oh, call Ron Burge. If anybody can help you, it's going to be Ron. And I've talked to Ron quite a few times, and I've known him for a long time because we travel in the same circles legally. Just I'm in Michigan, he's in Ohio. And like I said, we share a border. So Ron actually does handle some of these cases. And I've told people, if you've got a real problem with an RV, I don't handle RV cases anymore. I stopped. Ron still does. And so I'm going to tell you right now, this is not an advertisement or anything like that. And Ron does not know I'm doing this. But I'm going to put a link to his website in the description below my video also. So there's a link to this article and a link to this website beneath my video. And the website is rvlemonlaw.com. And he does handle RV cases. And so the interesting thing about what's happening here is the case in the other state to the east of me was a Thor motor coach case involving a dealer, and the dealer had brought a motion to have the case dismissed against them, and then the other defendant said, well, at this point also it's got to be tried up in Indiana, and a federal judge allowed that. Now we have two cases out of California that appear to be saying that what the manufacturer is doing in California is unenforceable. And so a lot of people are going to get upset and go, but Steve, if it's unenforceable, doesn't that make it illegal? Some states do actually say that if you create a situation that is intentionally or likely to deceive a consumer to your benefit as a merchant, that can be a violation of the law. Some states it's not. And so what the judge is saying in these cases, the judges are saying in these cases, is that there's something in these contracts and these warranties that are unenforceable, but to get to that point, unfortunately, you're going to have a fight over it in court. And so what happens more often than not is that somebody will get one of these coaches and they have a problem with it, and they take it back in for repairs a bunch of times, they get sick of it, and then they open up the warranty booklet, start reading it. And in there they see a thing that says, oh, you want to sue us? You got to sue us in Indiana. And if you go into an attorney's office, they're going to look at it and go, well, they got all these disclaimers going in their favor. And an attorney might say, but this is all contrary to public policy. And oh, by the way, there's two federal judges who've already ruled on this, saying these are unenforceable. But guess what? You're still going to run into a bunch of opposition. And you see, they already lost this once in a federal court. But because there's a different federal court, they tried it again. That is, they tried raising these defenses again. Now, it's going to get harder in California for Thor to fight this because hopefully any attorney out there now who's confronted by this is going to go, we've already got two federal court rulings going our way. But what about other states? And so I often say that generally speaking, RVs aren't covered by state lemon laws. And that's because in most states they're not. Some states they are. And California is one of the states that has got very good coverage with respect to RVs. Now, I'm not going to get heavily into it because I'm not an expert on California law, although I went to law school in California. However, my point simply is this, that because California has got such pro-consumer laws on the books regarding RVs and RV purchasers, that's probably going to play heavily into the analysis in these cases as to if you are in another state. Let's suppose you're in Nevada or Oregon or Maine. Can you say, hey, we've got two rulings out of a federal court that go our way? And a court can say that's interesting, but we're not bound by it. We can be influenced by it. You can make the argument those cases are persuasive, but you cannot make the argument they're binding on anybody other than precedent in those particular courts. So that's the problem. The interesting thing is that if Thor wanted to, they could take this up on appeal to the Ninth Circuit, couldn't they? And to take it up on appeal to the Ninth Circuit, they could win and make good case law for them, or they could lose and make bad case law, not just in California, but the other states in the Ninth Circuit. So let's wait and see what happens. Please, please, please take it up. Please, please, please take it up. But we'll see. But again, Ron Burge, R-O-N, Ron Burge, B-U-R-D-G-E, Burge. And if you simply Google his name, you'll find him because he has just unusual enough of a name. Go Ron Burge, attorney, you'll find him. But It's the website of his is rvlemonlaw.com. I will put a link below this. If you are an RV owner and or you're thinking of getting an RV and you're concerned about the future with warranty repairs, bookmark this video or bookmark his page. Because you might find yourself somewhere down the road going, I wonder if there's an attorney I can talk to about this. Ron Burge. And again, I haven't talked to him. I hope he doesn't mind me telling you to call him, but I don't think he will. He's a nice guy. So from rvtravel.com, written by Ron Burge, friend of mine, federal judge calls Thor's warranty a scheme to deprive RVers of their rights. And again, he does call out my video, says watch Steve Lehto's video about RV warranties in other states that are similar to the one in the case above. Questions or comments, put them below. Let's talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Lehto's Law. I'm investing in vintage comic books, as if I don't have enough issues already.